What's up, welcome back guys, Brax here, and in this video I'm going to share with you how many times I failed on Amazon FBA before making around $135,000 in sales within a period of a year and a half. Of course, I'm going to show you proof of all these sales. I'm going to go into my screen and show all this later, but I wanted to talk about my journey and how I got here and what the failures were, what the mistakes were. I'll be sharing with you guys the 3 phases of my journey, and at the end I'll be sharing with you guys 5 problems that I've had to overcome. Hopefully this video either motivates you or helps you avoid the problems that I face, or just helps you in general in your own Amazon journey, whether you started or you haven't started or you're already selling and you're very successful. So let's start with the first phase, which was before I started selling on Amazon and how I got started. And that phase, I was doing retail arbitrage on Amazon. So what that means is I was going to like Walmart and Toys R Us. Those were right next to each other. If you live in Montreal, you know them. And I'd go there. I'd also go to the dollar store. I would scan products, just random products, either on a discount or not. And I would see if they're on Amazon already and if they were selling well and if there was a difference in price where I could make a profit. I would buy these and I would get them home. I would box them and send them in one box to Amazon and then sell them under that same listing that's already doing well. And I would make the profit with that difference. So that was back in 2017. And if you look at my screen, this was back then. I couldn't go before May 15th. I'm not sure, maybe that's like a 3-year thing on Amazon where I couldn't go back. So as you can see, I was selling a bit before that, and that was up to September 30th, 2018. I pretty much stopped doing this now, even though I have one last box that I sent yesterday, and that's going to be the last shipment that I send and sell here. So I live in Canada, and these are my sales in Canada since I was doing arbitrage here. And as you can see, I've done around $6,000 in sales during that period, which is really nothing, but it was the best way for me to get started with Amazon FBA and learn the process. And the way that I got started with this, I was a complete beginner in anything e-commerce, not even just Amazon, and pretty much anything where you make money online. And I was new in Canada back then in 2017. I came here in August 2016. I live in Montreal now, and that's where I moved to from Lebanon. And back then I had just graduated as a mechanical engineer. I moved here as an immigrant, and I was looking for a job in obviously mechanical engineering. And it wasn't easy. If you know anything about my story, you know that I couldn't find a job for a whole year looking for something in engineering. So for a whole year, I was applying to jobs left and right. I was new here. I didn't know many people here. And I was competing with all these Canadians. Montreal is a city of students. There's like 6 universities. So I was competing with all these people. And me coming from this country that's very far, competing with all these people, so I could not find a job for like a whole year. And during that year, that was when I started looking online to do something. It wasn't even to sell on Amazon, it was just to do something. And I got into some social media marketing for a short period of time, and then I got into Amazon because I saw someone selling on Amazon and making like 15 to 20,000 a month. Back then, that was the era of the fidget spinners. If you don't know what they are, I'm sure you've heard of fidget spinners, the thing that you spin on your finger. And a lot of people were making a lot of money on those on Amazon. So there were a lot of videos on YouTube of young guys that were like, hey, I started Amazon last week and now I'm doing $10,000 a week with these. They didn't say what they were selling, but then eventually most of them were selling fidget spinners, whether in Canada or in the US. So around that time, people were talking about that. I had heard of it and I wanted to start doing it because I had a lot of time on my hands and not much money. Basically, I didn't have much to do and I wanted to learn how to make money online, whether to, do it full time or just to learn something new and do something with my time. So the fidget spinner guys, they were teaching something called private labeling, which is the 2 second phases that I'm going to talk about. But that's not what I started with. And the reason is you need a lot of money to start that, and you need experience or you need to learn it properly. And to learn it properly, I either wanted to buy a course and spend a lot of money on that course to learn it step by step, or the other option was to just try arbitrage, which is what I explained at the beginning, and then go from there. So instead of spending $1,000 or $2,000 on a training course, I decided to learn arbitrage. I did buy a course for arbitrage, but it was like a $10 Udemy course that I found, arbitrage for Canadians. So I thought it was perfect. I did that, and then the same day or the next day, I went to Walmart, I bought a bunch of things, and like I said, I sent it to Amazon. And then I think it was the first week or the second week, I got my first sale on Amazon. I'm sure you know how it works, but in case you don't, Amazon receives your stock, they store it, and you can send them, a whole bulk of products. And then whenever someone buys one unit, Amazon fulfills that unit and sends it to the customer. So all I had to do back then was find a good opportunity, send it to Amazon, and then sort of wait for something to happen, wait for a sale. And with that first sale, I got my first confirmation of, this is real, this is true, this works. So then I started doing more arbitrage, as you saw from my graph. I did a bit of sales, and then I did more, and then I did more. And that's when I got a lot more confidence in trying private labeling. That was around April or May of 2017. And just before the summer of that year, I started looking into how I can send my own branded products to sell on Amazon, as opposed to looking, in the stores for already existing products and trying to resell them. And that's when I got into private labeling. So at the beginning of the summer, I started doing some product research to see what's a good opportunity for me to source from China or from wherever it's cheaper and send it to Amazon as my own product. I found a product and I started selling it by the end of the summer. But I remember that I found that product at the beginning of the summer, but obviously I didn't start selling it at the beginning of the summer, mostly because it was my first time looking for something to sell. I did not really know that it was a good opportunity. I had found it and I was like, maybe this is it. But then I started looking for something else. I'm not too sure of the reason, but basically I wasn't confident in whether it is a good opportunity or not, because I had never done this before. Around August, I think, by the end of the summer, I looked back at that product that I had found at the beginning of the summer, and it looked like the market was not more competitive. It looked like it was still a good opportunity. I considered going after it. I was still not confident because, again, it was the first time that I tried to look for a product. I had never done this before, so I did not know what a good product or a good opportunity looked like. So I almost gave up, but I did not. I thought that I had learned so much and I have so much information in my head about how to private label. It would be such a waste to not at least try this. So I went after that product. So that's this one right here. It was from September, the end of September 2017 until the end of September of 2018, pretty much a whole year. I started October 2nd, I remember. October 2nd, there we go. And I did around $76,000 in sales in total with that one product. At one point I had another variation, but it was a very short period of time. It didn't sell that much. I just stopped it. And the best day, which you can see right here, $2,000 in one day. That was Prime Day. Yeah, that was Prime Day, July 17th. So that was my first product that I sourced from China, that I private labeled and that I sent to Amazon in bulk. My first shipment was a very small shipment, which was one of my first mistakes that I did and that I learned from. Within the first 2 weeks of selling on Amazon with that product, I sold out, I ran out of stock, and then I had to reorder. But I didn't have enough money to reorder because I had spent all my money. I think back then I invested around $2,000, $1,500 to $2,000 to launch this product. And that was all the money I had for this project. So that was my first mistake with this. And that's a mistake that I did a bunch of other times in the past. It's a mistake and it's also just a challenge with this journey, something that you will see if you haven't started. And I did a whole video on this, how I went broke within 2 weeks of selling on Amazon because I didn't have any money to reorder. If you want, I'll link it below if you want to watch it later. I'm going to refer to a bunch of videos about my story. I'll link them all in the description. Check them out after this video. So with that one product, I ran out of stock within 2 weeks. I had to come up with something to reorder, with some money to reorder. I think I did a credit card and then later I did a line of credit, something like that. The idea was that this product works, obviously, since it sold way faster than I had expected. So I was confident in using credit to buy more products and to be able to pay that credit back when Amazon pays me the money that it owes me. Because Amazon pays you with every 2 weeks, and with your first ever sales, it adds a week and then add a week for the wire transfer. So that's like a month between your first sales. And then after that, it's every 2 weeks. So with that product, I ended up selling $76,000 around a year. And then around August of 2018, as you saw, I stopped selling that product. Why did I stop selling it? There were a lot of factors on why I stopped selling it. Mostly it was because it was a bad product. The listing was taken down a bunch of times for different reasons. It was a bad quality product. So there were a lot of defects. There were a lot of complaints from customers. I managed to sell all that, but to continue to sell these, I would have had to keep fighting these issues. So I thought, I'm gonna drop this product, especially since I don't see a future for a line of other products that can go under this same brand. And I hadn't really differentiated that product. So if that market got oversaturated, I don't really have an edge in that market. And that was another huge mistake that I did with the first product. I did not, for some reason, like now that I think about it, I didn't do any differentiation with the product. I don't know how I did that and sent it just as it is. I pretty much copied someone that was already selling and sent it as it is. Nothing new, nothing different. And it's a big mistake. And I mean, looking back at it, it's very stupid, but I made it work because luckily I had one feature that most people have, but no one was highlighting it in their main image. So if you know anything about Amazon, the biggest thing is to find a good opportunity, something that's already selling on Amazon that has proven demand and that isn't too competitive, but also something that you can easily differentiate, or something that you can see a hole in the market that you can fill. So that once you start selling, and you're gonna start with 0 reviews as obviously, since you're new, if you compare your listing with 0 reviews with another old listing that's been selling with like 300 reviews, you need to be sure that people would choose yours because yours is different in some way and they would want it whether it has reviews or not on the listing. So that was another big lesson from that first product. Now, that was the summer of 2018, a year after I started it. Around that time, I started looking for another product to sell. I started learning more about how people actually succeed with Amazon and how they build a long-term business with Amazon. With this product, it was very much a short-term opportunity type of thing. What would have happened if I had continued selling that product is I would have had to keep looking for other products or new opportunities to sell, because this one would have either died down or I would have had more issues with it. So when I studied these successful sellers that were doing $1 to $2 to $6 million a year, and what I saw was common between them all is that they were building brands with their product. They either sold 1, 2, or 3 brands only, and under these brands they had similar products or related products that they could sell for the same audience. And I saw that as a much more long-term way to go about this business, because if I'm building a brand of products, a line of products that are related to each other, if I sell one, I can easily sell another one to the same audience. And if I can somehow grow an audience, then I can end up not relying on Amazon and selling them just anything that they actually need. Finding any problem that they have, giving them the solution with a product. So that was phase 3. That was the third product. That product I started selling around Christmas time, December of 2018. And I'm still selling it now. This is today. And as you can see, it's done around $57,000 since December. So what, 6 months? Yeah, pretty much 6 months. $57,000. So it's pretty much on track to be a 6-figure business. So like 100,000 plus a year business with just one product. There was a peak right here of 1,267, only 1 month into selling this product. And I'm not too sure what happened there. I actually did a video, I'll link it below, of what happened around this period. I have some speculations. Check out the video if you want to watch it. But I think it was some influencer marketing. It was selling well. I ran out of stock at one point. I also faced a trademark issue. So that was another big lesson as well. But before I tell you about that, let me tell you about how I found this product and how I moved from the first one to the second one. So as I said, with the first product, it was not branded. It was not a long-term vision. It was not a good quality product. And it was just not something I wanted to go after long-term, which I guess was the third point. So when I started looking for a product, my biggest criteria was obviously high demand, low competition, differentiability, but also, can I find other products to sell in the future before even starting this product? So I found this product by just browsing the internet. I think I was looking at deals websites where you can go and see people that are running deals for their Amazon products. And I looked at what people are running and I saw one idea, but then I validated the whole market and it looked good. And the market looked good, and I saw other opportunities that I could sell in the future. I could have probably sold them at the same time, but I just wanted to go one product at a time. So high demand, low competition, easily differentiable, especially this product, and a lot of product ideas that can fall under that same line of products. I went after this. I think I found it around the beginning of the summer or it was even April of 2018, and I wanted to start this, but it took a lot of time to get it going, mainly because I was figuring out the branding, how to grow the audience, and how to go about really growing something that's cool, something that's legit, and not just a random product that I'm reselling from China. By the way, if you're new to the channel, I've documented all of this. My first video on this channel was me doing arbitrage and looking for my first, or maybe launching my first private label product. So if you want to see those, go back to my channel, watch everything, and subscribe if you want to see how the future goes with my new product. I'm launching new products soon-ish. So definitely subscribe if you want to see more stuff like this and keep following the journey. So it took the whole summer to figure out how to launch the product, how to brand it, how to do it the proper way for a long-term vision. And then I launched around Christmas time. I'll link below how I launched it. I'll try to put as many videos as possible to show you the whole process if you want to see details of every single step, whether it's product research or launching, or how to find products yourself. So it launched, it did well for about a month. And then I was traveling back home after Christmas vacation, and I land and I see that my product is nowhere to be found on Amazon. So it turned out that there was a trademark claim, and obviously when I'm looking for a product, I'm checking if there's any trademarks or patents or any legal things that don't allow me to sell this product. But this is something that I had missed. The best way I can explain this is, let's say you're selling selfie sticks. The words that were trademarked were selfie rod. So they're two very broad terms put together and that describe the product. They're not really like a brand name. They're just two very broad terms put together and trademarked by one company. So that company filed a trademark claim. It was also a lesson. What I did was I actually contacted the company and I was like, hey, we did not mean any harm with this. We apologize. We removed those words from the listing. They replied, they said, yeah, it's fine. We understand. We'll remove our claim, or whatever it's called, from Amazon. So they messaged Amazon, but that was like a whole week between the time where they claimed it, they retracted the claim, and then where Amazon actually took action. And that was a whole week of me not selling at all on Amazon. So now, phase 3, the second product that I'm selling, the brand that I'm growing, this is what I'm doing now. I'm focused a lot on growing an audience outside of Amazon. I've already collected a lot of emails from my customers, a lot of Facebook information. I've done a whole video on how to do that. Again, I'll link it below. I don't mean to send you in all directions. I just want to give you as much information as possible. And I don't want to be vague in this video, but I also don't want to extend it for an hour. So anything that you want to learn, I'll put videos for them in the description below. And yeah, in 6 months with this product, I've done around $57,000 in sales, around 20%-ish in profit. So now I'm focused on growing the audience and trying to grow that profit margin so that I can have enough money to launch more products. Like I said, there's a lot of product ideas for this brand and I'm excited to launch more, but I need more cash to do that. Slowly getting there, just excited for the future. As you saw with one product, it's a 6-figure business. Now imagine having 2 products, 3 products. It's not very hard to get to a 7-figure business, to a $1 million a year business. And in terms of work, it's not really that much work added. It's just the beginning stages of launching a new product and then letting it sell. It's just the same amount of work in terms of looking at your PPC numbers and looking at your marketing and just monitoring everything. Making more on Amazon is pretty cool because it's not really working more. It's just launching more and letting it sell. So 3 stages were learning how to sell on Amazon, trying it, testing it. I believe that the best way to learn is to actually do it. You learn from your own mistakes, you see what works and what doesn't, you get more confidence. And the third part was putting everything that I had learned together and doing it the right way. So if I have any advice for you guys, if you want to start, stop thinking about it, start. If you're too scared or if you don't have enough money to start properly, then start with reselling with some arbitrage. I'll also link a video on how to do arbitrage. That was my second video on the channel. So get started, do something about it, stop asking too many questions, otherwise you'll be overwhelmed with information. And then the 5 problems that I had to overcome, they're lessons more than they are failures. I don't think I've failed really with Amazon FBA, knock on wood. I haven't had any products completely flop. It hasn't been the smoothest ride. Obviously, it's not gonna be ever, probably. So the 5 takeaways from this video that I want you guys to learn from: 1, My first problem was not ordering enough stock. At this point, I'm way more confident in analyzing a market, so I know that the product will probably sell well. And at this point, I'm ordering more than I need instead of not ordering enough like in the past and having to reorder too quickly and not having enough money and all these issues that I ran into. So study your market properly, and if you're doing it well, order enough. Don't order too little, or don't assume that you're not going to do well. Always assume that you're going to get to the first page on Amazon and assume that you're going to do as well as your competitors. The second issue was not having enough money to reorder. So at this point, anytime I'm trying to launch a new product, I make sure that I have at least double, if not triple, the amount that I need for the first order. I need to have that also in the bank ready for new orders. I'm not going to explain why, because you already know. Amazon doesn't pay you every day, and you're probably going to need to reorder sooner than you expect. The third issue was that I had ordered a bad quality product. Get a sample, inspect that sample, send an inspection company to check the shipment before it goes to Amazon, and just do your best to sell something that's actually good and that's actually helpful for people. Don't just sell crap. The fourth problem that I faced was a trademark claim. It should be pretty easy unless it's a huge issue. With my case, all I had to do was contact them and tell them that I removed the keywords, and then they fixed it with Amazon. It might sometimes take you more than that, and you might have to contact like a company to help you or like a lawyer to help you, but it shouldn't be the end of the world if it's not, a big issue. I hope that makes sense. And then the fifth and the most important thing was that I did not differentiate enough with the second product. So differentiation is huge. If you don't differentiate a product and you come to me and ask me for help, it's going to be very hard for me to help you. The main thing I'm going to ask you is, why would someone buy your product compared to someone else? Especially if you don't have any reviews compared to someone else that has 300 to 1,000 reviews. Please make sure to differentiate your product and make it better. I mean, it could be just a different color, and that could be enough for someone to choose yours over someone else's. The way that I've gone about minimizing the amount of times of failure on Amazon is I never really tried to recreate the wheel. I saw what worked, and that's really how we do Amazon. We see what's already selling, we improve on it. So I didn't start anything from scratch. I didn't create anything. I saw what worked. I saw how others were doing it, and I did the same or improved on it. And then once I got to that point, I saw how the better people were doing it, and I did what they did or even better. So that's the biggest lesson here. I hope you like this video. I'm gonna try doing more storytelling videos or, sharing my own personal journey type of videos. If you do want those, click the thumbs up. If you don't, let me know in the comments. And let me know in the comments what else you want to see. And consider subscribing if you want to see more videos like this. Click right here if you want to see a product that actually failed on Amazon. I did a video with a friend of mine that had two products fail on Amazon. So click right here to see his story, and I'll see you guys there. Peace.
I dropped because there was not enough differentiation. I think probably product differentiation was the one thing that
Yeah, I'll put a screenshot of that market.